for an endorsing body. What does Boardroom Advisors look for from applicants who come to you?
Good question. And I suppose one thing, I'm not answering your question immediately, but while it's top of my mind, I should just flag up to you and to everybody else, if people don't know, that they are changing the endorsing body process. From next autumn, they are drastically reducing the number of endorsing bodies. We've been invited to put together a consortium to be one of the people that maintains the endorsing body status. It's not guaranteed by any means, quite the opposite, but we're very hopeful of continuing that process on an ongoing basis. Right, sorry, let me answer your question, Hemang. What do we look for? Okay, so in both the startup and the innovator visas, the criteria are really around three things. You have to show that the business is innovative, viable, and scalable. So needless to say, when we look at a business plan, you can guess which three things we're looking for when we look through the business plan. You know, we read every word of every business plan, but those are the three things that we need to report to the UK government, to the Home Office, as it is over here, to make sure that people will qualify. And of those three things, the most difficult area is around innovation. And you know, what we need to do is to be sure that the business coming over that there's a market need for the service, and that the business proposition is different than other people's business propositions, and it has, in old school language, a USP. So those are the critical things. Now, in order for people to show us that, what we really like to see is some research. So that's market research to show that there's some need, and competitor research and analysis of that research to show that there is something different about this proposition than that which is already here in the marketplace. That research doesn't have to be, you know, it doesn't have to take weeks and weeks. It doesn't have to be in mammoth detail, but it does have to be in enough detail for us to say, yes, we can see there's a market need and we can see that this is different. So the business, it can be, just pick an example, it can be an online marketplace like Amazon. You know, how is that innovative? Well, for a start, is there a market need? Well, yes, we kind of know that Amazon's scooping up most of the marketplace, so I think that's fairly obvious, but let's just do a bit of research to show that. And then, how is it different than Amazon? Well, if it's exactly the same as Amazon, there is no innovation.
Fair enough.
But if there is something different about it, I can't think of something off the top of my head, but if there's something that makes it different than Amazon and different than the other people in the market, because Amazon aren't the only player, then that could well be deemed to be innovative. So that's the key thing. Viability is this business, does it stand a decent chance of succeeding? Is it viable, to be precise about it? And actually, that's also around, is there a market need, and is there something different about this business? Because again, if it's no to either of those, the business probably isn't going to be viable. It needs to have something different. But also perhaps a bit more than that. You know, can we, for example, see that over the 2 years of a startup visa and 3 years of an innovator visa, can we see the business still existing? Well, in that case, it would be viable. And that's a judgment call. That's, you know, we're experienced business people. We're subcontracted by the Home Office to make that judgment. But that's what we're looking for. And then scalability. Scalability is particularly important for the innovator visa, because in order to get residency, then you have to meet certain Home Office criteria in order to get that residency. Now, it's a complicated basket of things, which it's probably best not to go into on this webinar, but there are two major factors in there: turnover and staffing levels. And so what we have to do when we're looking at the business plan is to make an assessment as to whether it's likely to meet turnover and or employability targets. So those are the three things that we look in the business plan. It doesn't have to follow any set structure. People have said, well, have you got a template? There's lots of templates on the internet. You don't need yet another template from us. We're reinventing the wheel. Go and find a template. It's not, the template isn't the important thing. But if you can have, for people doing the plan, is it innovative? Is it viable? Is it scalable? Are the three things that will be very, very close on. There are other qualification bits.
Right.
On the startup visa, you don't need to be investing lots of money to tick the Home Office box. You probably need to invest something in the business to make it viable, but that's a different question. For the Innovator visa, the 3-year Innovator visa, you need to have at least £50,000 to invest in the business at the time of applying to us, because you need to show a bank statement, and it must be your bank statement, or if it's somebody else's bank statement, you've got to show a contract to show that they're going to invest in the business. We have to provide documentary evidence to the Home Office that the amount of investment money is actually there.
Right, excellent. Well, thank you.